How you doing?
Good.
My name is Joseph Whipple, and I'm the senior patrol leader of Troop 253, and we're here trying to finish up our communication merit badge, which is come to some public meeting where multiple views are presented and see how people present them, practice arguing, listening skills, all that. That's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And by the way, you're welcome anytime that you want to come to a meeting. Also tonight, as you've seen by some of the signs around town, we are having an election on May the 3rd. And we have invited the candidates here this evening. We're going to introduce them now, and then you can mix with them after the meeting. So, Awilda, do you want to read those off for us?
Sure.
And as your name is read, please stand up and remain standing.
We have our three incumbents, Mayor Rice, Vice Mayor Shesley, and Councilwoman Posey. We have also Randy Albright,
I didn't
not
see Randy.
here. Frank Bill Black, Jocelyn Denier, and Vern Smith. These are our candidates that are running for our election. Like Karen said, it's May 3rd here at the Village Green Pavilion from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. And you're welcome to meet and greet with them after the meeting tonight. Give them a hand.
We also would like to recognize tonight Brandon Paulin. Brandon is a perennial appearer at our town meetings. He's always winning some sort of a contest or other. I'd like him to come up and tell us what he has done and how far he has gotten, and then read to us what it is that he prepared and submitted.
Okay, so this year I was too old for the Patriots pen, so I moved on to the Voice of Democracy this year. So I did the Voice of Democracy essay, which you record your speech and then you send it in. So right up my alley. And then I also did the Buddy Poppy again this year, and I went to states with that. And I also went to states with the Voice of Democracy. I didn't place in states, but I was told I did really good. So I'm going to read you tonight the Voice of Democracy speech. The question was, does my generation have a role in America's future? So here it goes. 234 years ago, our founding fathers wrote the Declaration of Independence, freeing America from Britain. Did they realize that today the same nation they gave birth to would be one of the strongest nations in the world, and that the country that we thought was our enemy would be one of our greatest allies? Does my generation have a role in America's future seems to be a reoccurring question throughout the centuries. So, as I thought about the topic more, I had to wonder if other generations thought they would have an impact on America's future. Did the minds of the youth in the past think they could shape the world in which we live in today? Did the young Dwight David Eisenhower, who was born in Texas in 1890, think he would become a U.S. Army general in World War II and later the 34th President of the United States of America? George Marshall said to Eisenhower in May 1945, "You have made history, great history, for the good of mankind." Did Eisenhower think while serving in his country he would have an impact on America's future? Merriam-Webster's online dictionary states that a generation is a group of individuals living contemporaneously. In other words, a group of people born and living around the same time period. Is this all a generation really is? I see my generation as an opportunity and a key to our country's future. Our generation, as have generations in the past, need to carry out certain responsibilities to maintain and grow our nation. Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, a famous children's author, wrote many books that as children many of us have read. Dr. Seuss also contributed to helping us with World War II by writing animated training films called Private Snafu. Did Dr. Seuss think that later in his life he would go on to write one of the most inspirational books of all time, Oh, the Places You'll Go. This book was published in 1990, a little over a year before his death, and was the last book he had ever published. His words written in this book have inspired many people and is used at graduation ceremonies all over the nation. It teaches us about life, with ups and downs, choices you make, and how those choices can affect your future and possibly America's future. So can we make a difference and will we succeed? As Dr. Seuss would say, 98 3/4% guaranteed. Does my generation have a role in America's future? My answer is yes, we do. We make decisions every day that change our future, whether it's intended or not. Everyone should try to make the best decisions by taking time to think them through. Listen to your gut, but do your research so you can make good decisions and hopefully make a difference in your future and the future of others. Take time to make a difference, even if it's a small gesture, such as picking litter up off your town streets. Seek out problems in your community and do your best to try and fix them to make it better for future generations. Inspire to make a difference, as our founding fathers had inspired the birth of our nation, such as President Eisenhower inspired world peace and Dr. Seuss inspired the young minds of many generations. We too can inspire to make a difference and have a role in America's future. Set goals and dreams and take these words into consideration. Expect to win, prepare to lose, but never cease to achieve your dreams. John Gardner, Secretary of Health, Education, and Welfare under President Lyndon Johnson once said, "History never looks like history when you are living through it." So, I ask of my generation, as you begin each day, please remember that the choices you make now and tomorrow may have a role in America's future. Thank you.
I think you're going to pass right over the mayor and go on to something bigger. Dennis, Vice Mayor Chesley attended another science affair and would like to recognize some of the winners there.
I'd like to recognize the schools that serve the Indian Head area, the Indian Head Elementary School, General Smallwood Middle School, and Henry Lackey High School. All of them were successful and received awards at the Mesa Day competition last Wednesday and last Thursday. I was there for both days of events. Found it very interesting and rewarding to see that our local schools were successful in the competitions. Indian Head Elementary placed third in the Scratch competition. The Scratch competition is an animated presentation prepared on the computer to present a position or a point of view, and it's done with a computer programming with a program called Scratch, which is why it's called the Scratch competition. Scratch is a software application developed by Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and the students, each of these competitions were participated in by teams of people, anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6. All of the students participated in the Scratch program to develop this animation, built it on a computer, and then had so many minutes or half hour or so to recreate it on the computer at the competition and then demonstrate it to the judges. In the middle school competitions, General Smallwood Middle School took first place in the Basswood Bridge competition. This is a competition where they built bridges out of small pieces of, in this case, basswood, and then they assemble them leading up to the competition, take their bridge to the competition, and then it's loaded with weights to see how much weight it will carry. The winning bridges in these competitions, they started off with a paint bucket full of weights. In the elementary school bridge competition and the middle school bridge competition, both of the winners each had to go from a paint pail to about a 3-gallon plastic pail. So they had to transfer all of the weights out of the paint pail into another pail and add more to it before their bridges failed. So I asked one of the judges in the elementary school competition when they had to move from the paint pail to the bigger pail, how much weight it was, and he said he could guarantee me that it was over 30 pounds. So this is a little bridge about so long, built out of 1/8 or 1/4 size pieces of wood that carried more than 30 pounds of weight. General Smallwood also took first place in effective communications. And then at the end of the competition, General Smallwood took the overall grand prize. So they got 3 awards, 3 first place finishes in that competition. The overall finish, as well as the overall finish by Smallwood entitles them to go to the state competitions later this year. So General Smallwood did a very good job, and we're very successful at the competition. In the high school competition, Henry E. Lackey High School took first place in the effective communications competition. Henry E. Lackey High School also took third place in the windmill competition. This was a competition where they had to build a windmill out of cardboard, paper, poster board, wood, and different pieces to make a windmill that did 3 things. Lifted a weight up about 30 inches off of the floor, through a pulley system, pulled a vehicle that they made again about 6 feet across the floor with so much weight on it. And then the third element, they were measured against for how much energy their windmill produced, averaged out across various angles of wind attack or wind presentation to their windmill. So again, it was a very challenging competition, and Lackey High School did very well in the windmill competition. So I'd like to give a shout out to Indian Head Elementary, General Smallwood Middle School, and Henry Lackey High School for their success in this year's Mesa competition. Way to go.
Good. If you ever get a chance, you ought to attend those. I think anybody can attend these competitions. They have a,
I think so,
yeah. On resolutions tonight, we have 7 resolutions concerning charter amendments that Awilda will read the number and the nature of the charter amendment for each one, and then we'll vote on them in a block, all 7.
Resolution number 03-01-11, introduced by Mayor Council, was introduced on March 7th, 2011. This resolution is a charter amendment in reference to the elections and is for the, to alter the time for the appointment of the Board of Supervisors of Elections from every 2 years to every 4 years to coincide with the term of the mayor and council's position. Resolution number 03-02-11, introduced by Mayor and Council, date introduced March 7th, 2011. The purpose of this charter amendment is to set specific compensation for the mayor and council members, to specify locations for meetings of the town council, altering the stated purposes and of the organizational meetings, and changing certain terminology relating to closed meetings of the town council. Resolution number 03-03-11, Date introduced March 7, 2011. Charter amendment is for the purpose of amending the charter of the town of Indian Head to clarify the type of compensation that may be provided to the town manager, clarifying references in the charter to the town manager, and generally revising provisions of the town charter relating to the town manager. Resolution number 03-04-11, also introduced March 7, 2011. This charter amendment is for the purpose of amending the title for the town clerk from clerk of council to town clerk, and clarifying certain other terminology relating to the positions in the town government. Resolution number 03-05-11, also introduced March 7, 2011. This charter amendment is for the purpose of amending the charter to require that 2 members of the council issue and sign all checks for the payment of town obligations. Resolution number 03-06-11, date introduced March 7, 2011. Charter amendment for corrective revisions for the purpose of amending the charter to make non-substantive corrective revisions to existing language of the charter. And last, resolution 03-07-11, also introduced March 7, 2011, and for the purpose of amending the charter of the town to revise obsolete terminology and provisions relating to the town's wastewater system, and generally revising provisions of the town charter relating to the town's water, wastewater, and stormwater systems.
Thank you very much. We introduced these in March. We're considering them again tonight for adoption, which means we will actually change our charter with these amendments. Is there any discussion about these? Anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'd like to have a roll. Let's vote by roll call.
I move that we approve these charter resolutions in a block.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Posey,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chesley,
Yes.
Mayor Rice.
Yes. The charter amendments are adopted and will be included in our update of the charter. We have another resolution appointing members to the Economic Development Commission. Wilda?
Resolution number 04-01-11, introduced by Mayor and Council, date introduced April 4th, 2011. This resolution is appointing and reappointing members to the Economic Development Commission for the town of Indian Head. Pursuant to Section 8-8, Establishment Composition of Article 4, Economic Development Commission of Chapter 8 as amended of the Code of the Town of Indian Head, the following individuals are hereby appointed and reappointed as members of the Economic Development Commission for the town of Indian Head for a 2-year term expiring on April 2014. A new appointee is Penny Drinkard for Advanced Vision Systems. She would be appointed as a town business. And then the following are reappointments. We have Peggy Palmer for outside town resident, Bonnie Hockman Rothel for outside town resident, Betsy Wallman, town resident, Thomas E. Boom, town resident. And then we have Pam Hundley from Dale's Smokehouse as a business reappointee, Dave Dixon of State Farm Insurance from a business reappointee, and Mike Jones for Charles County Auto Body business reappoint. Be it further resolved that all resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith be and the same are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict, and this resolution shall be in full force and effect on the 4th day of April 2011.
Any discussion, or do I hear
I have a question. We're making these appointments and reappointments for a 2-year term, but the language says April 4th, 2014. Is it 3 years for 2014 or 2 years for 2013?
2013,
Okay. I move that we approve the resolution with the correction for the expiring term to be April 4th, 2013.
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Hearing no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Are any of those people here this evening? Oh, she did. Okay, I saw. Okay, thank you. We have several ordinances to be introduced tonight, two in fact. The first one addresses the town personnel ordinance. Could you just briefly read that one to us, Wilda?
Ordinance number 04-01-11. It's an ordinance concerning comprehensive revision of town personnel ordinance for the purpose of comprehensively revising the town's personnel ordinance and the policies, rules, and regulations governing the relationship between the town of Indian Head and its employees, and under certain circumstances, others providing for the application of the provisions of this ordinance to existing employees and others, and generally related to the establishment of revised and new personnel policies, rules, and regulations for the town.
Thank you. This is an introduction. I'd advise anyone that wants to know a little bit more about this to show up at the town hall and review a copy of it there. The next one is has to do with our budget. Could you read that, Wilda?
Ordinance number 04-02-11, introduced by Mayor and Council, date introduced April 4th, 2011. It's an ordinance adopting the town financial plan and budget and setting the tax rate, schedule of fees, and various permits, the major facility fees, water, sewer, and trash removal and disposal rate for the fiscal year 2012. Be it ordained by the Council of the Town of Indian Head, Maryland, that Section 1, the financial plan and budget for the Town of Indian Head for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2011, and ending June 30th, 2012, shall be indicated in the document attached hereto entitled Financial Plan and Budget for Fiscal Year 2012. Pretty much all of it has remained the same. There is only one change, and that is under trash services. Give me 1 minute. I will prepare.
I think Ryan has that in an abbreviated version. Okay.
I can give you the residential, I can't give you the commercial. I'll give you a quick budget summary. First and foremost, there is no increase in taxes and/or fees. So that's one thing. The property tax rate will remain the same at 30 cents per $100 of assessed value. Water and wastewater rates will remain the same. The capital contribution fee will also remain the same. The trash rate, residential customers, is going to go down to $60 per quarter. But the trash is also no longer going to be picked up twice a week. It's going to be picked up once a week. So that's one of the major changes. The general fund budget is down $327,483, or 21% from last year's budget. Water and wastewater budget is down $437,199, or 27% from last year's budget. And last but not least, there's going to be a 16% reduction in workforce. So that's the budget in a nutshell.
Yeah, we're on hard times, so we're going to have to take some drastic measures. The budget is available in draft form in the town hall if you want to review any of the details. And we will bring it up again. Oh, no, we have a budget hearing in
April 14th?
on April 14th here in the pavilion. We will have our budget hearing where the budget will be presented. Warren? How big is this?
would say yes, you could get copies, Warren, and I
We'll
haven't
determine-
heard anything
yeah,
on
we-
the fee, so I'm guessing it must be free. Warren said no.
Nothing is free.
You're right about that. We'll probably charge you a per page cost to
Copying it.
actually copy it, or do you want it in email format? Okay. How many pages is that thing? Budget ordinances, you want the slides and the graphs, or you just want the? You want the whole ball?
Do you want the whole actual budget sheets or just the budget ordinance?
Oh. Yeah, come into the town hall and we'll, yeah,
Town hall, this is the budget here in a nutshell. But this is, I'll look at it. This is one back.
okay. So be sure to put that date on your calendar, the 14th of April. Here at the pavilion, we're going to go over the budget by department and tell you just how each department will be affected. We have no petitions or unfinished business. Getting into new business, we want to award a contract for the 4th of July fireworks. You want to briefly tell us about those, Ryan?
Final year of a contract we have with Fireworks Extravaganza, and it is for the amount of, bless you, it's for the amount of $11,125. Next year, this goes back out to bid. We'll solicit 3 bids, and we'll bring that to you all again then. But this is the last year at $11,125.
Any discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
I move,
There's a hand. Yes.
We try to make it at least 30 to 35 minutes.
30 to 35 minutes more.
Anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
I move we award a contract to Fireworks Extravaganza in the amount of $11,125 for the display agreed upon for July 4th, 2011.
Properly moved and seconded. Seeing no further comment or hearing no further comments, all in favor of awarding the contract, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Contract is awarded. The next contract award is for lawn maintenance in town. Ryan?
This year, we received bids from 2 contractors, Brown Landscaping and Grass Masters. Grass Masters cut the grass for us last year. This year, with the reduction in workforce that we anticipate, we are going to be